Good evening. You're watching Breaking Today News right here on Switch TV. I am Lincoln Wambugu. Our sign language interpreter is Michael Maithia. Send in your feedback and comments to our SMS line 111 Switch TV Kenya and Lincoln Wambugu. Today, Kenya marks 11 years since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, with the leaders and activists celebrating the Constitution that created the devolved government. These historical days, however, marked exactly 7 days after the Court of Appeal halted the quest for constitutional change. Daniel Kariuki reports.
Today, the 2010 Constitution begins a new decade. 11 years on, the quest for full implementation of the Constitution still being called for. President of the Judiciary, CJ Martha Koome, celebrating the day, further noting, and I quote, that despite numerous challenges of enforcement, she says the rights of Kenyans are now generally being protected in the Constitution. Several activist organizations today celebrating the historical date. Linda Katiba today commemorated the gains of the provincials and liberties enriched in the 2010 Constitution.
One of the problems you have in the Constitution is that we have a very liberal, transformative Constitution, and we have a very insular bureaucracy implementing the Constitution.
At the heart of the Constitution 2010 was the desire to restore the sovereignty of the people by identifying them as the basis.
Last week, the Court of Appeal, in a majority ruling, upheld the decision of the High Court that invalidated the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020. Activists praising that decision, which they say was a threat to the current Constitution.
Hii mambo ya BBI, tunajua sana kuna vipengele vingi katika katiba bado haijatekelezwa. Tukiangalia mambo ya thuluthi mbili, kuhusisha wamama kikamilifu katika uongozi na nyanja za uongozi.
In the Constitution is no taxation without representation.
Katiba at 11, to what extent are Kenyans feeling this constitution in their lives?
As the 2010 Constitution continues to brag an existence of more than 11 years, it still faces that legal hurdle that has been taken to the Supreme Court on whether to make some key changes on that very same Constitution that Kenyans enjoy its existence till date. Daniel Kariuki for Switch TV, Nairobi County.
Thank you, Daniel Kariuki. And on our question of the day, we ask you tonight, are you happy with the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution 11 years down the line? Are you happy with the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution 11 years down the line? Send in your feedback through our SMS line 111 Switch TV Kenya and a link on Obogono's social media handles. ODM party leader Raila Odinga has called on Deputy President William Ruto to resign, just like Kenya's first Vice President Jaramogi Oginga did, saying it will be an honorable thing for any politician to do. Meanwhile, while speaking on the BBI ruling, the former premier has insisted that the halted constitutional change push had but good intentions for the country. Shilangatich reports.
As though this week was set out on testing DP Ruto's faith, yet again there are calls for his resignation from office, with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga backing President Kenyatta's sentiments to his deputy of quitting office.
Kama unaona kama mambo si sawa, na wewe ni mtu ambaye kuna principles, sema tu ati mimi naona mambo si mzuri kwangu, kwa hiyo I'm not going to tolerate this, I'm resigning. Alafu wewe unajiuzulu.
The former premier even revisiting a case where, as he was a member of parliament for Langata, he had to step down, saying any responsible politician would do the same.
Nilipokuwa enda Mrama, mimi nikasema siwezi kuendelea kukaa kama mbunge kwa hii tikiti ya chama cha Ford Kenya. Na nikaandika barua kwa speaker, nikajiuzulu.
The ODM party leader accusing the DP on double speaking concerning how the government is run.
Hii ambayo jamaa wanasema ati handshake imesimamisha agenda 4. Hiyo ni porojo. Handshake ingesimamishaje agenda 4? Yale mazuri yote ambayo serikali inafanya tumefanya. Lakini yale mabaya yote anajitoa huko. Na wao wanaweka kwa upande mmoja peke yake. Lakini wako kwa serikali pamoja. They are like Siamese twins. huyu ni rais na huyu ni makamu wake.
While speaking on the BBI ruling, the ODM party leader says that rejecting BBI was a bad move for the country.
Yeye ndiye alikuwa anaongoza the no team. Hii katiba hii ambayo sasa yeye anasema ni mzuri, hatakikani kubadilishwa. Sasa swali utajiuliza, kama ilikuwa ni mzuri alikuwa anapinga kwa nini?
In what seems to mark the last stages of an acrimonious divorce, DP Ruto, however, vows he will not quit the government he jointly formed with the president. Sheila Ngetich, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Shilangatich. The National Super Alliance, NASA, now stands formally dissolved after the Registrar of Political Parties, Andy Rita, confirmed the official dissolution of the coalition today. In a letter seen by the press, copied to ODM leader Raila Odinga, ANC's Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula, and Isaac Ruto of Chama cha Mashinani. De Rita noted that the resolutions of parties were executed as per set requirements. Earlier this month, three NASA principals, Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudavadi, and Moses Wetangula, signed a formal exit pact from the opposition coalition and announced countrywide rallies to market their One Kenya alliance. Moving on, staying hydrated is highly recommended. However, there are better alternatives to plastic water bottles, as plastics are polluting the environment. This is according to a 2021 PET Rubbish report. The report indicates that it takes about 450 years for a plastic bottle to decompose completely. Mariam Jahid reports.
Kenya banned the use of single-use plastic in 2017 to prevent environment pollution. The move saw Karura Forest declared plastic-free after the ban. But another pandemic is still wounding the country's landscape, which is plastic bottles littering. This is according to the 2021 PET Rubbish reports. Brand audit report was physically conducted in 6 counties in Kenya over a period of 5 months, which focused on the plastic material chemical known as PET. It noted that there is unregulated production of packaged water in the country, putting at risk the health of Kenyans.
With every new audit, more brands were found, and it is likely that there are many more nationally.
But local wastage management infrastructure has not kept the pace, resulting in large quantities of mismanaged waste. However, some waste pickers who are responsible for recovery of over 90% of plastics have this to say.
Serikali inafaa iangalie hao watu waste pickers. Waangalie sheria yenye wanaweka pale ili kutuweze kuwa tunajivunia hiyo kama kazi.
Environmental experts has urged the government to scrap off small quantities plastic bottles as they are contributing to environment pollution.
Somebody going to the shop to buy 250 ml of water, even that one cannot quench your thirst. So we are saying this should be a standard whereby we have at least, we say 500 ml and 1 liter, not 1.2 liter or 1.5 liter.
This comes after public nuisance law that was approved by Nairobi County, punishing culprits of littering in the city. However, Dagoretti MP John Kiari has a different approach on that.
There is no shortage of legislation, but you can never legislate manners. So this is about culturing. We also need to culture ourselves as a people to think about our environment. If you have a clean mind, you would not be able to survive in a dirty environment.
According to environment statistics, the average person uses at least 156 plastic bottles per year. COVID-19 has also exaggerated the situation due to increased consumption of masks, sanitizers bottles, and online delivery packages. Plastics overconsumption and mismanagement of waste disposal is causing landfills to overflow as seen here. Stakeholders involved recommend the government to implement deposit return scheme. Mariam Jahid, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mariam Jahid. Meanwhile, a section of Kenyans have termed the withdrawal of elite security team at Deputy President William Ruto's residences as the latest move to frustrate the Deputy President. In our weekly edition of Bunge la Mwananchi, a section of the Kenyans have, however, asked the DP to resign in what is seen as a move to back President Kenyatta's call for his deputy to quit government if disgruntled.
Wakenya wengi wanasafa. Tunajua pesa ni mingi Kenya, lakini iko kwa mifuko ya wachache.
Uchumi wa nchi unazorota.
Nchi ni yetu sote.
Once again, welcome to Bunge la Mwananchi. I am Majibu Kisawa, and of course, this is the #1 political set for debates and discussions by ordinary Mwananchi. Now, political rivalry between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto continues to widen, with the president asking his 9 years deputy to resign if unhappy. Why are the two making their differences public? And now the General Service Unit officers who have been guarding the residences of the Deputy President have been withdrawn and replaced with administration police officers. Is the President frustrating his deputy? Well, it is a conversation we'll be having today here at the Bunge la Mwananchi. Join me.
Tulisikia tetesi kwamba William Samoei Ruto, Dr. PhD, WSR, mkuki wa Koitalel, marashia wa mama, kipenzi cha wote, maua ya Talai, kwamba angatuke asali ya Wakenya. Kwamba angatuke kwa sababu eti kama atosheki na yale yanaendelea, atoke serikalini. Tumesema hivi, ushuru unaomlipa mshahara William Samoei Ruto unatoka kwa mlipa kodi, sio hela za mtu binafsi. Sasa tumesema hivi, lazima ataendelea kukaa kule aliko, kwa sababu ushuru unaomlipa mshahara unatoka kwa mlipa kodi. Wale watakaoona kwamba hawawezi fanya kazi na William Samoei Ruto waondoke. Alafu
waondoke wao, si Ruto.
Waondoke wao. Alafu tumesikia tetesi pia eti kwamba amepokonywa ulinzi. Wacha nikwambie hivi, kwa maoni yangu naona kwamba wamemuongezea ulinzi, hawajampokonya ulinzi. Wamemuongezea ulinzi, na ikiwa watamuondolea kabisa walinzi wa serikali, sisi kama wafuasi wa Dr. PhD WSR, mkuki wa Koitalel, tutaenda kumpa ulinzi sisi wenyewe.
Whatever is not happening in this government, he should not blame anybody. He should be even thinking of how he should fix what is not happening. And about him saying that he is being frustrated, I want to send this message to him. Ajue kwamba yeye mwenyewe ndiye anajidhulumu mwenyewe. I want to remind him again, as we celebrate the fall of BBI, he should not brag that he is the one who made it fall. It is the human rights defenders who believe in the will of the people. For him, we know he has never believed in the will of the people. He was against the constitution, and now he should not take credit from the people who are looking the loopholes that can come to make Kenyans suffer when the constitution is amended at the will of few individuals.
Sasa hii mambo ya kutuambia Ruto resign, hiyo yote tunajua, na hata resign. Mambo ya security. Mambo ya security hii unatuambia mambo ya security nini sijui nini. Sisi tunajua kama mahasuras. Hasura yetu mingi tunalindwa na Mungu. Na ndio unaona mara kwa mara tuko kanisani, tuko mahali tukiomba Mungu ili atulinde, ndio anatulinda. Utoe hiyo security ama usitoe, sisi tuko na Mungu na watu. Wacha hiyo mambo yenu ya system. Wacha mambo hiyo yenu ya deep state.
Toka kwa William Ruto kwa serikali ya Jubilee sasa is long overdue. Yeye amekuwa huku akipinga sera za rais zenye anaendeza huko kwa serikali, na baada akiwa ndani. Vile rais alimwambia you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time. It's either you are in or you are out. You get out, tujue kuwa sasa huko ndani, tujue kuwa sasa you are no opposition. Sasa na ukiangalia developed countries, when you differ in principle with your post, the best thing you do ni kuresign. That is
nasema ajiondoe pia, ajiuzulu.
Ajiondoe kabisa kama jana. I don't know what he's waiting for. Ndio maana hata mimi nasema hiyo mambo ya ulinzi atolewe kabisa, because hiyo ulinzi hiyo sasa aende huko nje, ajue Raila Odinga alikuwa at the same time alikuwa akiwa opposition, alikuwa hana nini, ana walinzi, anataka walinzi wanani, na yeye anasema ni hustle kama sisi hapa tunanga ulinzi, anataka ya nini?
Ni kama kampeni ya Ruto wanamkampenia kwa sababu watu wanakasirika. Kwa nini huyu mtu ananyang'anywa maaskari? Wananyang'anywa maaskari na yeye mpato ako ndani ya serikali. Unajua, acha nikwambie ndugu yangu kidogo tu. Acha nimalizie. Kama wanamnyang'anya na wanaona Ruto aliangalia akaona hakuna opposition wa kutetea wa Kenya. So lazima afanye kazi zote mbili. Akuwe kwa serikali na akuwe mpato kwa wananchi.
Atoke nje tuone wananchi ako nayo. But asituambie serikali ni mbaya na bado wako kwa serikali. Kama wa serikali ni mbaya, yeye pia ni mbaya.
Kama ni mbaya, pia ni mbaya,
aondoke kwa serikali.
Well, that's all we had for you from the Bunge la Mwananchi for today. I am Majibu Kisawa. Many thanks to all those who made this conversation a success, all those who contributed, my camera person, Maitrin. Till next time, God bless.
Wakenya wengi wanasafa. Tunajua pesa ni mingi Kenya, lakini iko kwa mifuko ya wachache.
Uchumi wa nchi unazorota.
Nchi ni yetu sote.
Thank you, Majibu Kitsao. We now take a short commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. Earlier on, we asked you a question of the day. Are you happy with the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution 11 years down the line? Are you happy with the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution 11 years down the line? Send in your feedback through our SMS line 111 Switch TV Kenya and at Lincoln Wambogo. Now, reading some of your feedback. Ben from Kianyaga says, yes, I'm happy. The BBI falling was a good thing. Peter from Utawala says, no, I'm not happy. A lot of bad things are happening to Kenyans. Look at how the Deputy President William Ruto is being treated. Keep on sending your feedback. Now, let's go to the world of business. Local manufacturers and millers are crying foul over the high cost of production in their industries and factories, attributing these to the high cost of electricity. Speaking at the grand opening of Nicey Premium Maize Millers at plant at Kangari Town in Murang'a County, the managing director of Giant Millers, Agnes Irongo, has said to beat the high cost of power, the government needs to empower the local manufacturers to tap into green energy by issuing licenses to plant solar panels in their factories. Irongo has further decried that local manufacturers are going through a hard time to acquire those licenses, asking the government to ease the process to the local investors.
We are supporting manufacturing because we know that's where our youth will get jobs. We trust that government will continue to empower manufacturers because at the moment, of course, there are so many challenges. We are, facing very high cost of power. Our mills spend a lot of energy, so the power consumption is very high. If government could continue to empower green energy, so that people like us can be able to set green solar maybe power projects in our mills, give us the licenses to be able to do it for ourselves.
We are happy for this occasion. We are happy for the upcoming of this industry that has seen a tremendous employment and growth of this town. The initial employment of this company has seen 100 youths being employed here, 75 being males and 25 being females.
Meanwhile, Kenyans who suffered historical land injustices have until September 20th this year to submit their grievances to the National Land Commission (NLC) or forever hold their peace. Section 38 of the Omnibus Land Laws Amendment Act No. 28 of 2016, amended Section 15 of the National Land Commission Act 2012, gives a 5-year period within which aggrieved parties of historical land injustices could submit their claims to the Commission. According to the amended Section 15(3)(e) of the NLC Act, a historical land claim may only be admitted, registered and processed by the Commission if it is among the criteria brought within 5 years from the date of commencement of the Act.
Sheria hii inaangazia, ilianza tarehe 21 mwezi wa 9 2016 na sheria hii inaenda kwa kipindi cha miaka 5. Itakapofika tarehe 21 mwezi wa 9 mwaka huu, yani mwezi ujao tarehe 21, basi maombi yatakuwa yanafungwa. Kwa hiyo ni jukumu letu sote kwamba tuhakikishe kwamba tumetuma maombi yetu kwa tume ya ardhi ili dhulma ile ambayo labda uliipata uweze kuwa compensated.
Ukienda katika ile section 101 ya county government, ni kwamba ni jukumu la county government to create an institutional framework for civic education. So kama ni serikali gatuzi ifanye haya na haifanyi, hiyo still ni kama inadhulumu mwananchi wake pale chini. So tungeomba serikali iruhusu vikao, wananchi wawekewe vikao na mashirika ambayo yako na ufahamu kuhusu jambo kama hili la mashamba.
Now shifting gears to global news, Vice President Kamala Harris has declared that the United States welcomes competition and does not seek conflict with Beijing, but will speak up on issues like maritime disputes in the South China Sea as she concluded a trip to Southeast Asia. In visits to Singapore and Vietnam, Harris charged China with bullying its neighbors in the region, triggering sharp rebukes from Beijing, which accused the U.S. of meddling in regional affairs and disrupting the peace, as Majibu Kitsao narrates.
China, Vietnam, Brunei, Malaysia, the Philippines and Taiwan lay claim to parts of the disputed waters of the South China Sea, which is crossed by vital shipping lanes and contains gas fields and rich fishing grounds. Harris said China's bullying and excessive maritime claims in the waters should be challenged and offered U.S. support to enhance Vietnam's maritime security, including more visits by U.S. warships to the country. Her statements drew condemnation from Chinese state media. In addition to rebukes by China's foreign ministry and state media, Beijing attempted to stage its own diplomatic coup during the trip, with a surprise meeting in Vietnam held as Harris' departure from Singapore was delayed by 3 hours. Harris' delayed arrival was later attributed to the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi to a mystery health incident potentially related to Havana syndrome, a condition of unknown origin that has sickened at least 200 U.S. officials, including CIA officers with symptoms including migraines and memory lapses. Harris' 7-day trip to Singapore and Vietnam is part of a broader U.S. strategy to take on China globally. Her visit, however, was eclipsed by the deadly events in Afghanistan and the ongoing withdrawal of U.S. troops. Majibu Kitsao for Switch TV.
Thank you, Majibu Kitsao. Elsewhere, India has lifted its ban on Boeing Corporation's 737 MAX jet, a major boost to the American plane maker that leaves China as the only leading aviation market yet to allow the aircraft to resume services. India's decision comes after it observed no untoward reporting on jets already flying since 17 global regulators allowed it to resume flights, as Apollo James reports.
The MAX was grounded worldwide more than 2 years ago following crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia that killed 346 people. While the US, Europe and most other major markets allowed the jet to resume flights in the late 2020 or earlier this year, following extensive fixes, India and China held back. Boeing has met local requirements, including setting up a simulator in the Southern Asian nation, and India is now satisfied with the jet's performance, Bloomberg News reported earlier this month. Boeing is still working with Chinese authorities to lift the ban there and has conducted a test flight in the country, though it will take months before commercial flights resume. While Airbus SE-A320 dominate the skies in India, the country is increasingly important for Boeing, where it has only one customer with orders. The plane maker is in advanced discussion with Ikasa, a new Indian airline backed by billionaire investor Rakesh Juniwala, to sell its as many 80 MAX planes, Bloomberg News has reported. In April, India allowed MAX jets registered in other nations to enter its airspace if the flight was permitted by the registering authority in the country of origin. Boeing forecast airline India will need more than 2,200 new jets worth almost $320 billion over the next 20 years as the emerging middle class upgrades from trains and buses. Apollo James, Switch TV.
It's now time to get sporty. As Harambee Stars prepare for the World Cup qualifier matches, foreign-based players are set to start checking into camp from Monday, August